Welcome back, everyone. Today, I am really excited for our guest. It's Dr. Jared Price. Some of you may even go to him because I had him on my podcast maybe last season or so, and so many of you liked hearing what he had to say, and so you are patients of his now. But I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about today, and so thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you as well. It's been fun.
Well, let's just tell our audience maybe a little bit about yourself, because you are really into finding the root cause of somebody's health issues rather than just putting a Band-Aid on a symptom and sending them on their way. And so I'm curious, what got you into that root cause approach?
Yeah, that's great. So after my doctorate that I got at the University of Utah as a nurse practitioner 8 years ago now, I was able to just jump in with men's health. I actually started with urology.
Okay.
And I actually saw more female, even though it was men's health, I saw more female than male just because of the recurrent UTI
Makes
and
sense.
pelvic floor and so forth. So I want to do a shout out of interstitial cystitis. I did a huge thing on that just to help people because they couldn't get help with their inflammation. But afterwards, I shifted just because of personal reasons of not seeing people improve there. So then I shifted into what's functional space of functional medicine clinic. There I learned all the things of just wow, there's actual pathogens that won't go away in our bodies. And I'm like, I had that myself. My journey itself was I got really, really sick with SIBO, which is a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And from that, I was unable to work. I had to call out just because my colleagues couldn't help me. I was sick in bed most of the time, fetal position, because it's sharp pain.
Oh, wow.
You can't even walk. I would crawl sometimes. So not having solution, I was and working in that functional space and doing my own research, I'm there is so much more we could be helping, preventing me to that place. And so for that reason, I started to do that form of treatment. In the meantime, I was working at urgent care. I taught at the Utah Valley University in nursing. But then I just thought, I just need to start to help people, and I kind of let go of everything and started to open my own practice, which is Ultimate Health and Wellness.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I love doctors that are out there trying to help people, trying to help them find their root cause. But I know at your clinic, you do something, or you believe in this 4-door system, meaning people feel crappy and they go to the doctor and they just are I don't know if it's gut health. I don't know if it's adrenals. I don't know if it's a nutrient deficiency. I don't know if it's stress. I don't know if it's the thyroid. I don't know if it's all these things. And I feel like people get overwhelmed because they're working on the thyroid and the gut and their stress and their nutrient deficiencies and all these different, and detoxing and all these things. And it gets too much.
Yeah.
And then they're nothing's working, nothing's helping.
Yep.
And so you have this idea of there's 4 doors maybe of where people should be at.
Yep.
And maybe people are in the wrong doors.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that right? Is that
yeah,
sort
that's
of
right. And what I've noticed is that they will burn all their energy behind that door because they believe that to be the door, and they're losing hope because that door is not giving relief to them. And so it's still scientifically true to be a good door. It's just that their body themselves, they're not listening to the symptoms of their body, that's not quite ready for them yet. And I did that even in SIBO. You do not want to be sick anymore, right? And so I did go to the finish line of trying all the things that are right at the finish line of probiotic and all those things, and I just would inflame and get tons of backup from it. So the door thing just is kind of to keep it simple, of just saying which from symptoms of life history, where are you at, right?
Okay, so I'm curious to know what the 4 doors are and to know how you know which door you're in. So we'll talk about that later. But let's just talk about the 4 doors. Can we start at the beginning?
Yeah.
So if someone comes to you, do they automatically go to door 1? And what is door 1?
Yeah, door 1 is vagal nerve regulation / your favorite, methylation.
Okay.
Because of what you've been through, right? And so from that door, we first, before even door 1, it's ground zero, right? We get life history. We go straight from birth clear to the current. There's a story in everyone's journey that makes it such a beautiful thing because they have the golden ticket to get them out of what they're in. They just don't know it yet. And so piecing it together carefully and listening, there is some fun. I'm usually jovial and we laugh a lot, but you have to be very serious to be able to really be a detective in their life history, or you'll miss it every time.
Yeah.
And I'm always very apologetic because that is so crucial before the door, because you can't place them in a door unless you know those symptoms and that life history.
So you get their health background for their
The
whole
traumas,
life.
right? So emotional, physical, even sexual, right? Like there's, in a world of today, like we have to be considerate and open enough that our body keeps the score, right? And so because of that, we have to be sensitive enough to look at all the things that makes them up to where they're at.
And do you do testing before you place them in a door, or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. Like I think symptoms speak very loud of where they're at. And usually, like when they first come to see me, there's no testing because usually I can detect quite a bit from the symptomology itself.
Interesting.
If they're more advanced, that we already kind of know most of where they're at and that they are ready for testing, I'll do a 1 week lab. Like they'll go straight away into a lab before they even start anything. And then I'll hypothetically put them on some things after they've done that lab. So I can see baseline and then progress after that lab.
Okay.
With the next lab.
All right, so let's talk about this first door. You
Yeah,
said it's
okay.
vagal nerve. Vagal nerve what?
Vagal nerve regulation. And as you're saying, well, I think we kind of mentioned this beforehand, but vagal nerve is such a buzzword. Like everyone's talking about, oh, I got to regulate. But to understand the importance of this, so the vagus nerve goes right down. I always tell them it's right next to your earlobes. It just goes down on each side, and it actually innervates your body to go into a fight or flight or a rest and digest mode. The tone, quote, of a low tone is when that nerve won't shift from a fight or flight, because we need to protect ourselves from time to time, from a fight or flight back to a rested state. So if it's a low tone, people struggle to go from that back to rest. So our world today, we are very much just a fight or flight, and that we struggle to get back over to that rested mode. You can't heal your body, you can't regulate your body if you're always fight or flighting. That's where the inflammation's at.
Because your cortisol is just constantly
It's leading out. Yep.
Okay.
And it's crushing all the other troops that are so important to your body.
So how do you know if your vagal nerve... Okay, wait, let's talk about this. Some
Totally.
call it vagal nerve and some call it vagus nerve. Is
Same
it the
thing.
same thing?
Same thing.
Okay, we got two names for the same thing.
So fun.
Okay, so...
Vagus nerve is the actual nerve, and then vagal is just like, you vagaled when you had a bowel movement or something.
Okay.
So it's like relating to the action of the nerve.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay, so how does someone know if they need vagus nerve regulation?
Totally. And I'm going to
How
relate
would I
it.
know?
Right, exactly. And I'm going to relate it because the moms are hubs to the family. They have no idea that nervous system could be wrecking them, right? And they're so for their children that they don't recognize that they're losing their own steam as well. So if you are wired, your brain is wired, but your body is tired. That is a good sign that you're on that fight or flight mode. If you are never hungry, you could go all day and not eat. That's a good sign you're in a fight or flight.
Interesting.
Yep. If you have sleep disruption, where it's difficult to go to sleep and keep asleep, you've got a vagal nerve that's playing a game on you.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then lastly, just like blood sugar controls, because that's related to cortisol. So if you feel hangry all the time, like that's another good sign that you have a vagus nerve issue.
How about constant highs and lots of lows?
Of which what?
Of blood glucose.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. Yep. If you aren't in a good, easy, steady state, that's the rest and digest mode, right? The steady state. So if you're chasing blood sugar, trying to keep it optimal, that's a good sign that the vagus nerve is playing into that.
And is the vagus nerve just stuck in that fight or flight because purely of stress, purely of women and men, but just go and not regulating their stress?
And that's just it. Like we can't quit our lives, right? So we've got to regulate it, right? We've got to. It's a little kid that has a lot of weaponry that can beat against our body, and we've got to tell the kid to just be gentle with how it uses the weapons, so it's not beating up the body anymore. So You don't quit your life. You don't quit your job. You just regulate it so it's a part of your journey, and now it's just now a more steady state.
Okay, so now everybody wants to know, how do I regulate my vagus nerve then?
No, yeah. So there's many different ways, and because it's such a buzzword, everyone's been mentioning that. So the humming, the singing, the tapping, box breathing of the 4-4-4, right? You can do. People that also notice if you're in fight or flight, you'll kind of hold your breath more. You don't take deep breaths, so you're just shallow breathing. Just wanted to mention that one too. So back to that though. Devices, if I don't see cortisols regulating well on lab, I'll give it a go, because my goal, I didn't mention this, my goal is that in a year, people are feeling optimal, right? You can't motivate patients with their health journey for very long because it's so rigorous and hard.
Even a year
Yeah.
you have to be patient with, but it does take time.
Yep. So at least paint that goal, and that they should be tasting something in 3 to 4 months, right? And even 2 months. So, but anyway, the devices that I love when I see cortisol not shifting, and that's including adaptogens like the botanicals, like the ashwagandha and adrenal complex, you bet. If those things aren't getting it quite there, I still keep them on botanicals because that's always a good adaptogen. But then I go into the Pulsetto. I'm sure people have seen that one.
Is that the thing where it's like attached to your ear?
Oh, that one's good too. And that one's not bad. It's just the expense of it, right? Like that one's a little more money. It's like $800. And so the Pulsetto's only, it goes right below the earlobe.
Okay.
It's this device on the neck. And that one will actually only be around the $200 to $300 mark. So that's why I was like, we got to be realistic here. We can't just kill them just this one time with something. So I was thinking like the Pulsetto, but that one works great, as well as Apollo. I'm wearing the Apollo today. That's just on your wrist, and it does its own like scheduled regulation. So you don't have to think about it. It just regulates you all day long.
By doing what?
It does vibrations.
Vibrations?
Yep.
And this one is also doing vibrations. So it's vibrating the vagus nerve to help get it out of fight or flight.
Yeah, which we just have to mention. So that's low tone when you're fight or flighting. Strong tone is now that it can regulate back to a parasympathetic really well. High inflammation, like we're talking at least 70% increased inflammation if you stay in low tone. And then because of the strong tone, it can crush CRP and interleukins by also the 70%. What was it? 75% of the parasympathetic state communicates through the vagus nerve. So just think of that huge importance. Constipation, IBS, like it's all connected
to the vagus nerve. Because the vagus nerve is connecting the gut to the brain, right? It's what all the neurons are speaking.
That's
through.
Right. That you make more serotonin in your gut than in your brain. And then they travel on the vagus nerve and communicate to the brain. And so what's important to this is that your fight or flight response before you go into like panic attacks, this first communicated that we're in a fight or flight. So it says, here's all the serotonin, now freak out, So,
interesting.
Anyway.
Okay, so if people get blood work done and they see that their CRP is really high, then right away they should be first dealing with vagal nerve regulation.
Yep. So if they have the symptoms of a dysregulated vagus nerve that we talked about, and a CRP that's high, cortisol low, if you want, I can speak to the cortisol part.
Sure.
Here we go. So cortisol, the reservoir, that blood cortisol is a bound cortisol. It's not the free cortisol because that's salival cortisol. I hate that word. So because of that, this should be low in your mouth when you test that, but the blood one should be high. It should be 14 to 16. That is your whole day's worth of cortisol.
Okay.
So if your morning cortisol is sitting at like 6, 7, I've seen it as low as 3, that is a crashed adrenal system. It has no capability to help the body that day. So the adrenal complex is key. So what I've noted with adrenal complex is that it will bounce them out of that crashed stage 1, stage 2 of adrenal insufficiency. And that means it's above 10. So it's really beautiful. It's fun to see your stuff like work in the blood work.
That's good to know.
Yeah, right. And then the ashwagandha always regulates it, so it keeps that cortisol 14 to 16. So I always say ashwagandha is on the table.
Interesting.
But that's what we're talking about with cortisol. You don't want too high, too. Too high is a very, very sad story. Those are the panic attack people. Those are the trauma people.
Okay, so can people get their cortisol checked just through blood work?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yep.
And so a good range is
14 to 16.
14 to 16 is what we're
That's
looking
what you want to
for.
go for. Yep.
I wonder what mine is.
Yep.
I need to go back and look on my blood work.
Yep.
Okay, so that's door number 1.
Yep. There's vagal.
I'm curious though about some of these vagal nerve regulation tools. Like, I know about breathing. That to me makes sense. But humming, how long do we have to hum? Are
I know.
we talking?
Yeah. Good question.
Minutes, hours?
Yeah, right. So it's just 5 to 10 minutes, and you do that morning and night, right? The minimum of regulation is morning and night to be able to regulate that, so that kid that's got all the weaponry just knows, okay, yep, they're watching me. I got to keep under control, right? But if you are dysregulating, it's even more powerful to do it then. Like you can tap, but this is kind of awkward to do in front of people. So what you can do is the mastoid bone, which is right below the earlobe or behind the earlobe, you can push right on that mastoid bone, the sharp little point, and right below that is the vagus nerve. So if you're just like, I am not winning today, you can push on that, and it's like, oh, I got to relax. And I actually pushed the wrong side. The right nerve only really regulates the heart. The left nerve regulates the whole system.
Oh, interesting.
So you really want to push behind the left ear.
You learn something new every day.
I know, it's fun, right?
New for me.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, that's good to know. And
yeah.
I actually love to hum. Ever since I was a little girl, I have hummed.
So you intuitively knew.
Sometimes my husband is like, can you quit humming, or do you even know you're humming right now? And I'm like, no, I do the dishes humming. So maybe my body
That is it. It's just like, okay, time to relax.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep, totally.
Okay, so some people, though, don't need to start in door number 1,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
So some start at door number 2.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what door number 2 is, but since you said that, like, the neurons start in our gut and then go to our brain, is door number 2 gut health?
Yeah. So door number 2 is gut health. It's energy of cell. So and methylation. Can I just do a quick thing?
Because we didn't talk about methylation.
And methylation's so key.
And that's in door 1.
Yeah, and it's in door 1.
Let's go back up to door 1.
I'm so sorry. And so methylation is huge to the liver, right? We get all this raw material. I'll describe my own way of methylation. So we get raw material coming from the gut, right, into the liver. And that raw material now is on a conveyor belt by the liver to be cut up so that it becomes free-formed. And once it's free, now it sends it into the bloodstream, our arterioles, to the cell to be fed to our cells.
Okay.
So the problem when people have a mutation, and it's more than just MTHFR, that is one of them, but any form of mutation can affect those saws that are cutting up on the conveyor belt. When that happens, now the logs are going to the cells as big macros that it can't use. And so the brain, the nervous system senses that. It's like these are things that are not normal. And so it starts to raise the vagus nerve because of a panic of invasion, right? Like we're getting a burden load of stuff we can't use.
Interesting.
And so now it's going into fight or flight again. So that's why methylation, I don't get very far into the other doors if people's nervous system is not regulating. And we look at methylation and also just the nerve.
Interesting. And so let's take like B vitamins.
Yeah, exactly.
So the B vitamins are coming into the gut.
Yep.
They're on this conveyor belt to the liver.
Yeah.
The liver can't chop them up.
Yep, that's right.
Or methylate them.
Yep, methylate them.
To then pass them on to the bloodstream to be used
by the cells. Yep. So it's congesting the liver. It's building up in the brain, and it's like this is freaking out, because it needs to go away because nothing's using it, right? So because it can't be used, it's just inflaming. So it's just inflaming surrounding tissue because it can't be used.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
And a lot of people have methylation issues, and especially of the B vitamins.
That's right.
Especially B12.
Yep.
And so these B vitamins, though, are needed for energy, for good mood. I mean, brain health.
Every neurotransmitter needs it. Neuroregulation in the brain, neuroplasticity, as it's called, it can't work without those Bs. So you need the Bs for sure.
And they've got to be methylated to be used. You can't just take a B vitamin and think your body's going to be able to use it.
Yep. And we should talk about a little bit of the energy drink, because I know you just did a thing on that. Energy drinks, people need to just look at the backside just to protect their liver and to protect their nervous system, because if it's cyanocobalamin, that's just cyanide. They're putting cyanide right into the liver. Oh, and you
Which
probably
is
had
crazy.
mentioned this. Yeah. So, and it's so toxic. So we don't need to overwhelm our bodies with bad things that can't be broken up.
Because they should look on the back, and what should it say for
Methylcobalamin.
Exactly.
So anyway.
Because that means it's already been methylated.
Yep,
It's
and
been
it's-
like chopped up.
Yep, and it's just going right to the cell. The liver's like, oh, easy.
Okay, so back up on this, because you said people that have methylation issues, well, okay, the logs in our analogy aren't chopped up.
Yeah.
And so they are into the bloodstream causing inflammation.
Yep.
So if someone goes and gets blood work done and their inflammation is really high, can that be an indicator that they aren't methylating?
That's right. Homocysteine.
Okay.
Yep.
So they should look at not their CRP, they should look at their homocysteine?
CRP will go up, but so will homocysteine.
So explain that to us.
Homocysteine, I know, right? But it's huge, right? So the B vitamin, B12 going into the cell, now we're like at a cellular level. It's taking B12 in, burning it, and the exhaust piece, the stuff it can't use of B12, is now homocysteine. That thing is
That's why it's high.
And it's high because it's also not using the B12 that it can't use. So then it's starting to just convert it to get rid of it. So homocysteine starts to go really high. So when that happens, though, homocysteine actually raises blood pressure. It's a spike protein version, not like the COVID, but similar spike proteins that will actually rub on the blood vessel wall and trigger a spasm of constriction. So you'll get into hypertension issues.
Interesting.
So, and once it gets to the liver, though, the liver's really good to cut it up and form it into methionine, which is very safe. It's an amino acid that's actually anti-inflammatory.
Okay, so on blood work,
Yeah,
do you like around a 7?
less than 7.
Less than 7?
Yep.
Oh, I did good there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
My husband had really high homocysteine and then got on our adrenal complex and our B complex.
And now it went down.
It went way down.
There it is.
Yeah, he was at a 13
See?
and it went down below a 7.
You can't be above a
So-
10. That's red flag,
Yeah.
above a 10.
So that is crazy.
Yep.
Okay, so we get the vagal nerve regulated. We work on our methylation.
Yep. And now we shift.
And then we go.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because if door 2 is energy or cell energy.
Yep.
Cell energy and gut health.
Yep.
It does make sense that if you're not even methylating, why are we even
Why
skipping
even?
to gut health?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is a wake up moment.
Yeah,
'Cause
the
so many
system.
just go right to the gut health.
Yeah, no, not quite yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Because so what we call with vagal regulation is locked up system. Nothing, even if it's good, hormones, peptides, nothing works as it should. It's very difficult to get the body to move because it's not safe.
Which you will hear people like, I'm on HRT or I'm doing peptides or something and it's
nothing's
not
happening.
helping.
That's right. That's
that
right.
makes sense.
Yep. So once we get to energy of cell, now we're like, okay, the nervous system is willing to work with us now. The doors are opened, and now we can give that energy back to the cells that are shut down for the most part. The mitochondria, which is the battery to the cell, those just shut down when the nervous system goes fight or flight. Cortisol is just like prednisone that we get from Western medicine, like anyway. So that will just shut down your burning, your metabolism, and your mitochondria. So we need to rev up the mitochondria very gently. So when people have been in chronic fatigue syndrome or just really tired all the time from the fight or flight, you have to go slowly because those cells that are turned off now have accrued junk. And so if you turn on cells too quick, they will make you feel flu-like. Because they're now like, oh, perfect, get this out of the closet. You know what I mean? It wants to get rid of everything. And you have to be smart how fast you're turning on stuff.
Well, how are you turning on these cells?
Oh, yeah, that's true. And so that would be first and foremost, we work with the gut. We need to know, do you have intolerances? Do you have sensitivities of your gut like that? And how is the pooping? It's kind of laughable in my clinic because I talk about how many BMs per day you do, how many poops. You need to be at 2 to 3. And people laugh.
I know they do. I said this other day to a friend,
Yeah.
and they were like 2 to 3.
Yeah.
I'm lucky for 1 a day.
That's right. That's right. And we have to think like, and we'll talk about the door of drainage, but that drainage of toxin, whether you like it or not, it is going. It's always draining toxins, and it will recycle that toxin. So if we don't get it out, it will go back to our cells, and you'll know it's really bad if your skin is bad. Skin is the last resort of the liver being like, what? This toxin again? It's going to the skin.
Interesting.
So you really got to watch the skin. If the skin's bad, that means you are overloaded big time. Okay, so we were talking nutritional. I want to speak to protein goal. In my first visit, I always speak to protein because you have to have equivalency to your lean muscle mass. If we don't know that, you can actually do a kilo weight, and then I do some multiplications to find out from their ideal weight of when they felt the best, what that would be as a protein goal. They have to hit it every day. Every visit, I'll look at protein in our lab work and be like, "Are you eating your protein?" Like I'll always readdress it because you can't. It's been proven scientifically that it will regulate your nervous system to keep the hunter-gatherer at bay. Our cortisol will start to increase to find protein when we're famished, when we're too low in the protein. Our liver can't even detox without protein.
Interesting.
So you got to be able to do protein. So.
Okay, so does protein, though, help turn the cell on?
It totally does. It totally does. So all of the amino acids turn on the neuroplasticity of the brain, as well as every cell and endocrine. But that's just getting started. So that's like in my first visit. And then next visit, we have lab to go game day, right? So now we're going hormones. And that exists of like sex hormones plus thyroid, which I spoke of in our first podcast. People wanted to watch that one. That would give greater detail to those. So
okay, before we skip on to hormones, though, hold on.
Okay.
Okay, back to protein, though, because I know everybody's going to ask, because you hear the differences all over the board of how much protein people should have.
Yeah, it's true.
So what is your...
And urologic background that I have, I would say like you had to be careful on the kidney, okay? I know a lot of people say you can never hurt the kidney. Yes, you can. Like I work with when people are really chronically ill. In my clinic, I'll call nephrology, and we work out a deal on how to help them. But if your function of the kidney is really good, you can do 40 grams at one time. If the function of the kidney, which is the GFR, glomerular filtration rate, I hate the glomerular word anyway, but when that rate is above a 90, you're good to go.
Okay.
If you're like sitting 70s, 60s, you're not drinking enough water, first of all, and you have decreased function of the kidney. So, anyway, so if there is an issue with the kidney, now we're decreasing at one time to 30 gram or 20 gram at one time.
Okay.
Just because of the burden.
So if we're having 40 grams in a meal,
yeah.
How many? So 3 times a day?
Yeah, and then as a female, usually I see with their ideal, because we weigh in everybody that we see, and if they didn't weigh in, I'll do hypothetical numbers of where they felt the best. But from that, we get their lean muscle mass, right? Because you have to protect your muscle. If your muscle goes away, because the body is saying, if you didn't give me protein, that's fine. I will raise cortisol, and the cortisol will liquefy muscle in 5 minutes. So
interesting.
So you're
in 5 minutes
hosed either way. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you're hosed, and it's not worth it. So you might as well just protect your muscle by getting enough protein.
Why go to the gym if it's gonna?
You're just playing a ring around, you know. So once we, so most females sit between like 100 to 120 minimum.
It's hard to get 100 grams of protein in.
Amen. So like
it is really hard. I have to drink like 2 of my protein shakes to get it in.
I love that you have that though, and then I love that you have the protein. Yeah, these drinks. Too.
Yeah.
But I would say also tablets. I will take my time with that protein schedule till we've aced it. I will say there's not a person we haven't aced it with.
Just because of all the amino acids it contains. Those
That's
amino
right.
acids are going to
complete amino acid profile.
Do
if it's
all
a complete
the healing.
Complete amino acid, then you're good to go. That would act like a normal protein. So.
Okay. So back to door number 2. We're in door number 2, working with protein.
That's right.
Working on the energy of the cell.
Yep.
But then you started to talk about hormones.
That's right.
So do we address hormones in door number 2?
Yep. We
because...
do. Protein's set in stone.
Okay.
But if it's like a little treat, right? Like I want to give hormones, but if you didn't think to do protein in that next visit, we are stopping the visit and we're working on protein again till it's very much aced. because that is neuroregulation that you're eating. So anyway, once we have that, we go right into sex hormones. Now, thyroid is crucial. Thyroid, I'll give a little bit from last podcast to this one. So thyroid is the contractor looking over every project in your body, including periods, growing a baby. Infertility is not a thing. Like you can really help your body with infertility just by getting that thyroid to a really good level. So anyway, so once that contractor's showing up really well, now the grunt workers is estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. And they help build muscle, they help to get things out of the muscle or out of the cell, and then they also help grow your immune system really well. They grow the skin, the hair. So it's all very crucial after that point. But I usually will go thyroid, and if they're estrogen dominant, which I would say like 75 to 90% of females go estrogen dominant very easily.
Which is crazy to me.
Which is sad, so sad.
Know.
Because it shuts down the mitochondria, increase weight. They just don't feel themselves anymore.
They feel witchy.
Yeah.
Estrogen dominant is, I tell people it's a witch with a capital B.
So because of that, though, we want to make sure we can get that balanced sooner than later, because the biggest thing we want to do in the front end is to make sure that they have hope, that they are tasting, they're feeling things shifting in their body. And so I'll address that as well.
Okay, so why do you think so many women have estrogen dominance?
Yeah, fight or flight. So fight or flight does not care to make a baby, to regulate periods. It's to survive. It's to keep you safe, right?
It's what happens when the bear is chasing you and you are running, but we are doing this every day all day
That's
long.
right. You're taking care of 4 kids or whatever kids. And
so it's survival mode.
That's right. And so to the story of the fight or flight, cortisol goes up, sugar goes up, blood sugar goes up. And then that shuts down the immune system, shuts down the endocrine system of all your great hormones, and now it welcomes in pathogen. So when all of that is happening and sugar is going up, insulin will actually increase with that, which inflames the whole body. So if they're like saying, I feel puffy now, and because they don't have any progesterone, estrogen can be formed through insulin. So insulin goes down to the ovary, and it starts to kick off tons of estrogen. So now they're just increasing that estrogen to high levels, including, though, is people not pooping. You poop out your estrogens. And so if they are like, I just poop when I need to, like that recycles. And so now it compounds the problem.
Well, and then there's other issues, though, too, because fiber is what binds onto estrogen to help you poop it out.
That's right.
And most women don't eat enough fiber.
Yep, 21. They got to be at least 21.
So we just came out with a fiber drink for that reason, because
beautiful.
People aren't pooping enough every day to get that estrogen out.
That's right.
Okay, so, but also, though, when you're in fight or flight and your cortisol is just go, 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 aren't you stealing from the production of progesterone?
Yeah, so when that production of, within the adrenal, yes. And so because it's called DHEA that exists in the adrenal space, and your adrenal will fill out from the system and the nervous system. Are we in a fight or flight? Do we need to protect our body? Or are we rest and digest regulating hormones? And if it's fight or flight, it shifts over to make cortisol. If it's not, then it shifts over to make progesterone, testosterone.
And progesterone can be our calming hormone.
Yep.
To help us not be that witch with a capital B.
That's right.
So some women need more progesterone.
That's totally it. And so we do. We break through that spell through supplementing through, your perimenopause, menopause, or PMS, beautiful products. But then in addition, yam cream. We do an organic yam cream to kind of regulate that, to get that T and the P up. And then even more so, we can just give individualized progesterone, testosterone to be more scientific.
We could do a whole episode on
it's so
hormones.
Fun. It's fun.
Because I have so many questions about PMS and periods and perimenopause and all of that. But,
absolutely.
Okay, so that's door number 2.
That's 2.
I can't sidetrack there because I got to get to door 3 and 4.
That's right.
We'll just do another one on that.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so at door 2, you have fixed protein, the energy of the cell,
nutrition,
leaky
gut, like all of that stuff is all
we didn't even
addressed.
talk about the gut.
But I will say, like, if you have a permeable gut, which is noted from a high leptin, If leptin is more than 7 in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and beyond, that just means that the leptin brain signal from the brainstem, when it's trying to communicate to the gut and it can't, it's because that's what's happening. It's too permeable. It's starting to be so inflamed, it can't talk to it anymore. So leptin goes up.
Because I've heard women say, like, oh, I just don't ever feel full. I could eat and eat. And so you're saying that is a leaky gut issue?
Yeah, that's right. Because that brainstem is trying to say, hey, are we good? Do we need more food? And it's just dormant, silence. So it's like, okay.
People are not talking about that because that is a problem for women. The food or whatever. The
immune system starts invading, inflaming your gut lining. So now the shoreline, I always say mouth to anus is just one big river. So that shoreline is narrowing now that you cannot go to save your life. And that's because of all that white cell involvement that is now inflaming inside the gut lumen.
Okay, but these tight junctions that open in gut permeability or leaky gut, the toxins are getting out and into our bloodstream,
and then those are going in the bloodstream
and causing
going to the
inflammation.
Liver, raising high liver enzymes to the liver. And then the liver's like, well, good luck. And it starts to even leak now to your thyroid. And Hashimoto's starts to exist. So
the toxins leaking out, is that what's messing with the leptin or no?
It is the receptors on the gut lining that communicates whether you're full, not full. That's what leptin is. And so because there's inflammation there, those cells can't really get receptor communication going anymore.
Okay.
And so that's our problem. Yep.
So how do people know if they have leaky gut, though?
Well, leptin, but honestly, if you have IBS, if you have constipation, if your gut is not regulated, strong, still gut, if you feel food when it hits the gut, good signs you got leaky gut, right? Like there's so much toxic burden in our food that we have to work with bone broth and other things to constantly reheal that, what it's doing.
Okay, so leaky gut, though, do you think if people feel bloated after eating, that's a sign?
It could be a binding issue, could be a flow issue. So there's three things to the gut. So there's a pH balance that you can do a baking soda test to know if you have enough acid in your gut.
To break down the food.
To break down food so that it can go sufficiently to the liver to be now cut up, as we said with methylation. There's also enzymatic, your enzyme blend, beautiful. And so if things can't cut up and you're seeing food in the toilet, you need enzyme, for sure. And
people see food in the toilet?
Totally a thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
if you guys see food in your toilet,
not a good sign.
Okay.
So, and then the last one is just motility factor, right? Mucal lining, making sure that you can't feel the food. People always quote, "I have a still stomach." That's just mucal lining, meaning that there's enough mucus that it's hitting the mucus and churning, never touching the skin lining that it should never touch in the first place. So if you have enough mucal lining that you're not feeling your food, and that you have good motility of 2 to 3 bowel movements a day, now you're in a sweet spot with your gut. But I always want to make sure that people, even like with JFK, he's launching good things, man. And so nutrition is in the positive for our country, but you want to get like 8 to 10 fruits, veggies. I can't say that enough. It's so important for our systems to have that. So
to get the fiber.
Fiber and nutrient. Vegetables have more nutrient than the fruit, right? So we want to hit a lot of that.
And so if someone's listening and they're like, oh, I've got gut issues, is the number one thing to change their food, or do you suggest probiotics, or what's your go-to?
Yeah, so if you're feeling food and if you're stalling your bowel movement, you would just need a good look at. I guess I should try to help them, but magnesium. I would say get mag going. I call it the mag challenge. This is in our drainage door, which is coming
up.
Yeah, but yeah, you want to get things moving out so that the body can properly process everything every day. Because you're building up toxins and dumping into the bile. 80 to 90% of all toxin is going to our gut. So we have to get stuff out. If we don't, we just build up with toxin. So, so yeah, if they are just messed up with gut and they can feel their food, they need bone broth, big time. If they have food in the toilet, they need enzyme. And if they need an acid balance, they could still do your enzyme because of the ox bile, because that's what would help improve it.
Okay. All right, so that's door number 2. So
Yeah.
they're going to work on their hormones and their gut.
Yep. Protein goal. You bet.
And the protein goal. Okay, so then door number 3,
Yeah.
I'm guessing is drainage, since you just sort of gave that little tip.
Yeah.
Doesn't drainage start fixing itself once you start working on your gut?
Love it. Yep. That's why the door is so far out. Because like 80% of things can be fixed in door 2. That when we get to 3, they're like, oh, I don't have a problem. All that stuff went away.
Okay.
I'll ask, how's your bowel movements? Do you feel puffy? Puffiness where you feel water retentive, right? And so that's a sign that the sewer system from the brain to the liver isn't really going well. And so those things start to improve with energy to the cell, right?
So is helping the lymphatic system part of door number 3?
Yeah, that's right. It is door number 3. So anything that drains is door number 3. So that's kidney, bowels, lymph. Those are your main doors.
So are we
main things.
Are we talking exercise in door number 3?
Yeah, some simple things to help improve that. So your brain is a toilet bowl that has to drain every 12 hours.
I've never heard that. Okay, your brain is a toilet bowl.
That's right. So it just poops into the cerebral spinal fluid. And so that fluid is toxic. That has to be constantly flushed and filtered out.
And what is your brain detoxing?
Oh, so many different neurotoxins, of course, right? Mold can go up there, parasites. So once that flushes, it flushes through the sewer lines that goes to the liver, and then that liver has the job of giving 80% of it going to the gut. So that's why drainage has to be going. You should never detox if drainage is not going. And people always get that mixed up that I'm detoxing, so I'm going to kill this. They didn't even look at drainage yet. And drainage is why people get sick.
When they're detoxing.
When they're trying to detox and they didn't, and that was me. I did not look at my drainage, and I just wanted an out. And so I went straight to detox when drainage was a mess.
This is important because detox is really trendy on social media.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And people think it's detox when it's not. So the simple things to help drain that sewer line, right? Which the sewer line is right next to the vein. You can see all your veins, right? And it's just a thin, flat tube that the veins are filtering out toxins and throwing into the sewer line to take to the liver. Okay. So once it gets, so let's discuss like things that we can do. So in your blood work, CBC, the complete blood count, you want a differential always. Never just do a CBC. You want a differential because it will show the lymphocytes. Lymphocytes, which is lymph for short, will be in your lymph. So when you are above, you want to be 25 to 30. So if you're high, that's an acute issue that's happening inside your lymphatic. If it's below into the 20s or teens is really bad. That's where you're crashing. The system is crashing, and you'll see more white cell involvement of other troops showing up because those will decrease as well. Anyway.
So when you're saying it's crashing, we need some lymphatic support?
Yep, red light is one of them.
Okay.
Also rebounding, so you can jump rope, you can box jump, you can shaker plate.
I'm going to say a vibration plate?
Yep, and then also the trampoline. That's gold standard.
Okay.
Because of the bounce effect. So that's an easy way to help, but magnesium, I call it the Mag Challenge. We use your Mag complex, of course, because it's very awesome because it has the seaweed mineral to really grab it into the cell. So, and I love that you've actually added more mags to it. So that was a cool change that you made. Anyway, Mag Challenge, you increase the capsules morning and night, tell you each day by 1. So day 1 is 1 cap 2 times a day. Day 2 is 2 cap twice a day. Keep increasing.
Whoa.
Till you get to loose stool, then go back down till it's smooth again. That's your dose. And when you travel, you'll need extra mag because of the fight or flight.
I have never taken more than 2 a day.
Oh, okay.
So
and you're probably good with your bowel movement.
I am, but that's interesting.
Yeah, but people aren't. Like there's some people that they'll be 3 or 4 caps 2 times a day and not even pooping more than once.
Wow.
And that's just their vagal nerve. It's so locked up.
Interesting.
It speaks, the MAG challenge is such a beautiful challenge because it says volumes of symptoms of where they're at in their doors. So.
Okay, so back to lymphatic.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no, back to the lymphatic in door number 3.
Yeah.
Sleep, can't that play a part?
Oh, yeah. Yep, you improve Vagal regulation improves sleep. I forgot to mention that by 60%, which improves the lymphatic as well. So, but yeah, sleep is key. If you try, so the circadians start draining the swamps at 10 p.m. is your endocrine system.
Whether we're awake or asleep?
It
So
starts
around
to
at
try.
10, our brain
Endocrine.
is trying, or
Yep.
the endocrine
Yep. So
system's trying
these
to
college
dump.
students are like, I just saw a patient yesterday that they're just like, my periods are all over the place, but they're going to bed after, they're doing school all day, then they have to play, then they have to do their tests and their assignments.
They don't go to bed till like 1 o'clock in the
That's right.
morning.
That's
That's
right.
like a good night for some of these college
Yeah,
kids.
that's right. And so it was 1 or 2. She was doing that daily, and now her periods are all over the place. But she would used to be regular. And so that just speaks to the circadian importance because toxins build up in all of our endocrine glands and everywhere else. So
They need to dump
they
starting
need
at
to
10
dump.
o'clock.
That's right. I know.
That's so interesting.
It's brutal.
Okay, so they've worked on some people start at door 3 maybe.
That's right. Yep.
they're
They could
good
be
at door 1,
acing
2.
their gut really well, right? And I'll see it. Like leptin will look good. They don't have any symptoms. They've got 2 to 3 good smooth bananas coming out of bowel movements. And so because of that, yeah, we go right to door 3.
Okay, so then let's move to door 4.
And that's detox. The final
Okay,
detox.
let's talk about detox. Like
Yeah.
I said, because it's such a trendy thing on social media. So what does detox mean to you?
Yeah, elimination, right? We've got to eliminate a burden that is existing in the cell, the lymph, the brain. Somewhere people get seizures with toxic overload, right? So wherever it is, it's making havoc. And so we've got to drain it.
And what are we detoxing?
Yeah, so mycotoxins with mold, parasitic toxins, which there's like 30 to 40 different kinds. So I would say a lot of gut issue and skin issue is parasitic involved. Lung, sinus is either parasitic or mold involvement. Brain can be a mix of many. Neurologic is a harder, I want to be careful here because I want to give hope, but when you're neurologically involved with neuropathy, sharp pain, tinglings, that's a sign it's been there for years, decades. And so it's going to be harder to detox, and we're hoping it didn't damage the nerves.
And when we are talking detox, are we talking? Tell us what that means, because
Like the process of it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
some
yeah.
people take like a detox juice for a week, and they've said they've detoxed.
And they're good to go. Yeah, detox for a system to properly detox and mobilize, you have to be at least 3 or 4 months. So this isn't an easy process, and so you want to make sure that they are primed and ready, like their drainage is on point, because when they start to mobilize, there's no going back. We have to start binding effectively to safely get things out, because these are like executives. These are people that have jobs. They have a lot of responsibility. I don't want to have them derail like where I was, where I had to be professional, but I couldn't go anywhere, right? And
we don't
so,
want to get them sick.
That's right. But it is 3 or 4 months, so you just know you're in the long haul for that, right? And it's the binding, okay? So drainage is mobilizing, and the detox is nothing more to bind, so it will go out. So there's chelation, which chelation is to properly, it's an enzyme that allows cells to open up to funnel out the junk. So it chelates the cell to allow things to come out. Once you're chelating, then, which is just some products that I have, and then you also remove biofilm. Biofilm you actually do in the 3 to 4 month phase, because biofilm, which maybe I'll hop to that when we're ready. 1 to 2 month is really binding. You're binding loose stuff. That's stuff that's just recirculating. You just want to get that
Toxins.
out. Yep.
You're binding onto toxins.
Yep, you're wanting the stuff that's on surface level always coming back, right? You want to get rid of that first. Then what you do is you start to kill like mold or parasite. Now you have die-off, which I should speak to. I can never finish. There's so many that say, I can never finish a detox. I'm never touching one because I get so sick. I'm never going to do it. And the reason behind that is actually a German dermatologist. His name was Dr. Herxheimer. Have you heard of Herxing?
Yep, I know exactly.
Exactly. So Herxing, which is named after him, is nothing more than what he found when killing too much and they got flu-like.
Yep.
And so that could be headaches, malaise, which is achiness, just flu-like. Anyway, so we want to go low and slow and not fast. When you go low and slow and not having symptoms, when you have a symptom that's kind of a side effect or just that's kind of hurting you a little bit, you only want it lasting 1 day. If it's going 3 or 4 days, that's too strong. And I always tell them, cut it in half. You have to now go half of what that is. And I do rounds on my patients every day because, like, it's so scary to do this by yourself.
Okay.
So I want to be there for my patients. Patients are always texting in for the whole day, and then I take care of it that night.
Okay.
So, but anyway, when that happens, we always want to make sure that we're binding effectively what we're killing. So heavy metals, zeolite has to be involved because it has a high affinity for them. When it comes to parasitics, you want the biotoxin binder from Cellcore, really great, humic fulvic acid. I love that one. And mycotoxin, usually like colsevolum or like Welchol, things that will attract to that toxin. So, and once those are binding effectively, drainage keeping up, because then they'll say, I'm not pooping anymore. Okay, I immediately tell them to stop killing then. If you can't drain, and when you start to kill, shoreline is clamping shut from inflammation. And so that means we're not binding effectively and we killed too fast. We're herxing, right?
Okay, so does everyone need to detox like this, though?
I love that question. It's actually the 20% of that story of the doors. So 80%, that door 2, fixes the 3 and 4. It will effectively bind. The methylation piece actually will help to bind all these things effectively. So
some people don't have to go through all 4 doors. No. They may be healed or feel better just from door 1.
Yep.
Maybe methylation was their issue.
That's right. And if by door 3 or 4, which is about a year with me, that I ask, how are you feeling? And I would say it's not like I'm not a God complex here. Like I'm like 80%. People are like, I have never felt this good in my life.
That's
and then
awesome.
There's other people that are like, I can't feel anything of what you've done. And that just means, because if people have had that happen to them, brain inflammation. There's nothing helping their brain enough because we have to remove what's now in the brain.
Interesting.
So that they can feel it.
So that's door number 5 that doesn't exist.
Oh, well, I mean, it's just detox still.
Oh, it's part of detox.
Yeah, you just got to start. That's just green light. Okay, we got to do EBU. We've got to now hit harder. There's so much toxic load that needs to be eradicated. So.
Interesting. Yep. Okay, because talking about EBU, my son did EBU when he got home from the Philippines because he had a lot of mold and parasite issues. But door 1, 2, 3 was never addressed with him.
Yeah.
We just went right to EBU.
Yeah, you're like, we got to get this thing. Yeah. Most do because it's like, we got to get, I can tell you're not well, right? Like, let's just do the detox, right?
But maybe we should have started with door. Do you have to go in order?
You just want to make sure safely that they are regulating well in the other doors.
Oh, okay.
Because then it doesn't harm them. They'll herx so bad. Like thankfully the EBU is it's designed to be really safe so that it doesn't bring any toxins back to you.
Oh,
the filtration of the EBU, that's such a beautiful design. Because when you do die-off in the ozone bag, right, of the blood, that die-off goes back to the person, and then they have to deal with it. But the EBU, there's no die-off going back to the patient, which is great.
Interesting.
So
not everybody needs to go through all 4 doors because one door may make you feel better depending on your body's issues.
That's right.
So where do you see most people?
Ooh, good question. I would say it's a mix. It's a total mix. And it's hard because they blend so well into all the doors. But I would say most have not addressed door 1. I would say that's true. And I would say that people are hopping around doors 2, 3, and 4 quite a bit. More like 2 and 4. Because drainage is kind of misunderstood. But I guess it's got a lot of hype now with like the vibration plate and so forth. Yeah. So I would say 2, 3, and 4 are kind of being hopped on. And vagal nerve is a very buzzword, but most don't think of it as a connection to the healing journey.
Yeah, they don't.
And so they're just like, yeah, that looks cool, but I'll work on these, you know?
But it makes sense. If the vagal nerve is getting your nervous system regulated, that makes sense. You need to get that regulated.
And then the brain can open up. It can open up and feel all the things that they've worked so hard on. So
All right. Well, there's so much more I could ask you because
Yeah.
I actually do want to talk to you about perimenopause and menopause. Do you get a lot of women in
Oh,
for that?
yes, 75%.
Because hormones are all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then I want to ask you, do you talk about peptides in your clinic?
Yeah, totally.
And is that in door number
Peptide
2?
It's number 2, and it's cherry on top. You want base foundation of hormones addressed, and now you can start enhancing more with peptide.
And why do you need your hormones addressed first for peptides?
They're the 80% showing up in the cell. So the peptides are surrounding the hormones, but the core of it is the hormones. They're at the core. It is a quick fix. I won't get you wrong. But as soon as you stop your peptides, you're starting back at ground zero. And the hormones don't let you start back at ground zero. Hormones maintain where the peptides took you.
Interesting. If your hormones are balanced or regulated.
That's right. Yep. Testosterone and all the things. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll have you on to talk about all that because now
Absolutely.
my listeners are like, "Why do you even bring up peptides?"
Yeah,
We
you're
wanna
right.
hear more
Oh,
about
it's so
this.
good. I love peptides.
Okay.
Love it.
Well, thank you so much for explaining all those doors and for being here. But those that are listening, you do telehealth, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so people from lots of different states
Lots
can
of
meet
different
with
states.
you.
If we don't have your state, just be patient with us. That we just have to go through a credentialing process to get that state.
But they would meet with you, and you could tell them what blood work to go get done if necessary,
Yep,
and you would do
all the
same
things.
things that you would do in person.
If the state won't allow shipment to your state, we will help by shipping from our clinic. So
Gotcha.
we can ship everything.
So reach out if they need help with door 1, 2, 3,
3
or
and
4.
4, that's right.
Which is most people out there need
Yeah, that's
help with
right.
something.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I always end the podcast with 5 final questions now this season.
Oh, okay.
So not just one anymore.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is, what emerging health topic excites you the most?
Oh, it's peptides because of the longevity factor.
Yeah.
That's so great.
I have so many questions for you on peptides.
So fun.
Okay, number 2, what's a piece of advice you'd give your younger self?
Emotional health. I wish I knew how much emotion regulation is tied to your own health. Because I had a lot of life events in my life, losing my brother and other things. He was my best friend, and I was blown away at how much that can wreck your. Well, and you can relate with that, and it wrecks your health if you don't maintain properly.
It was so interesting losing my sister, going back on that last year. I had felt great beforehand, like literally the best place I'd been health-wise. And in fact, I had gotten my hormones tested, and the doctor was like, wow, your ratio is amazing. Like, what have you been doing? And I'm like, I feel great.
Yeah.
And then this happened, and literally, oh my gosh, I had brain fog. Usually my brain can just like fire like this, and I can do this and go here and do this.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't even remember what was on my calendar. I can't even make a decision. I can't remember. It was the worst. And so a doctor was like, you should probably go get your hormones tested. That event, because it just was so traumatic and so shocking because we weren't expecting it, it dropped my progesterone and estrogen to almost nothing.
There it is.
So I tell people, like, trauma and shock and stress like that can really mess with your health.
Yep, totally. I relate with you. It's big.
So if you have emotional issues,
door 1.
heal those because they're affecting your physical health.
That's right.
Okay, that was a sidetrack of our 5 questions here.
Yeah.
Third one, what's one health practice you'll never compromise on?
How many bowel movements a day? You got to drain.
4, what's your favorite Just Ingredients product and why?
I put Mag Complex last time. This one I'll say ashwagandha, and if really stressed, adrenal complex.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, our ashwagandha is grown so amazing.
Yep.
It is like...
That's why I love it.
Because ashwagandha can be really nasty. It's a plant that collects a lot of the pollution and collects a lot of the pollution from the soil. So we know exactly seed to shelf on our ashwagandha.
Amazing.
So
amazing.
anyways.
Good job.
A little plug there.
Yep.
All right, last question. What is the best ingredient to life?
I would say connection to both body, to yourself, others, and universe, and gratitude. With those things, I feel you can optimize your health. Without it, you'll struggle.
Oh, I love that.
Yep.
I love connection.
Yep, it's huge.
Well, again, thank you for being here. Tell people, though, where they can find you.
Yeah, Ultimate Health and Wellness. I forgot that part. Ultimate Health and Wellness in Lehigh. You can text us, call us. If we don't pick up, just text us. You can also email at assistant@UHW Clinic.
And also on Instagram.
Yeah. Reach out on Instagram. We can get you there too.
Awesome. Well,
So,
thank you again
yeah,
for
thank
being
you.
here.
I love this. So